Storming. You know, if we just put on a pair of goggles, we'd be safe from this entirely. Anyway, walking back out into the wild area for a quick little daily scan of the zone. See if we can't find ourselves a decent TM or something. Or TR, rather. Am I the... Oh, I'm in the front area of it, aren't I? Look at that guy with the goofy, just open-mouth grin. Dude, you are going to eat so much sand from that, you fool. Yeah, see, I like my current team. We could definitely have better moves. Dark Pulse. Okay, let's put a pin in that because that's good. That's a move that's useful. I just have to actually go farm up like 2,000 watts. That's not as hard as all that, probably. Oh, hey, look at this goofy bug. It's level 9. It's not even worth fighting for the 2 EXPs. My PP is too valuable. What a very silly sounding phrase on several levels. Oh, that's quite a large individual. What have we got that can deal with this? Because I might be having a bit of a bad time dealing with this particular Pokemon. Oh. No, wait, no, we can send in the bug. And just energy ball it a couple of times. Also, I do enjoy that Streamlabs sent me an email of like, oh, here's the report from your latest stream. Buddy, I was live for like 2 minutes. Well, okay, it was a little more than that because I had the whole pre-thing there, but... Regardless. Yes, they let you do that at the start instead of sitting there wasting turns building up Terra energy. The raid mechanics of Gen 8 are generally better than the ones in Gen 9. Although I don't know how I feel about A, the fact that only one person can Dynamax during the fight, period. B, the fact that who gets priority for it is based... It starts as the host and then it goes in order. And 2, or 3, or whatever number I was on, the use of the rather stringent death counter, which is only 4 deaths allowed, and also, holy fuck, that's a load of shit. On these raids is kind of garbage. I mean, I guess point 4 here is also that these AI Pokemon are garbage. Like, they're pretty ignorable in the Gen 9 raids as a rule because a lot of them don't really do much, and a lot of the time it's just like, oh, hey, that tree is here when my strategy is Earthquake. But my god, some of these random Pokemon. Like, again, we're here with this level of fellow on our party. These two goofuses have a Pikachu and a Togepi, respectively, still. And they are unevolved. And, like, their fix was, oh, we'll put a Focus Sash on them. And, you know, just let me just sit here and make jacking off motions about this because... Ugh. And, of course, the infamous Martin Soul Rock. But I think I think Wobbuffet is worse. You know, just my opinion here. Also, hey, yeah, I got completely robbed of basically my entire Dynamax phase here. And now for some reason this thing is just this much fucking faster. Make it make sense. I don't think Cloyster has, like, Swift Swim as an ability option, does it? So it shouldn't be that much of a change, especially because it's getting its speed debuffed by this rat. Oh, and hey, Togepi doesn't have any sort of attacking move, despite the fact that at the very end here that would be useful, but whatever. It's not like I know anything about game design whatsoever or anything, so... But hey, Snorlax sealed the deal. Given the rate the ice caps are melting, Cloyster is now I don't have a response for that one, Chief. Oh, hey, bottle cap. Ah, yes, look at all these ghastly noises. Yeah, this is an era where bottle caps could not just be purchased for 20k. And even then, 20k in Gen 9 is like nothing. You just go and you sell all of your random materials that you get from dealing with an outbreak. There, I said the right term this time. Is the sandstorm adding light? Yes. Which is why it's this screaming orange color instead of a color that makes sense. Why the sandstorm is adding light, I don't know. But yes, it is significantly brighter out. I think maybe the ghastly appear during the day around that little ruins area. But only there? Also, again, here's another just random one of these agent dudes who's got his mouth just all the way open. Buddy, let me sell you my TRs for watts. Come on. Otherwise, farming this up is kind of... But. Wow, okay. Look at you continuing to mention bees. What, did you get trapped in that one raid in 14 again? I mean, wait. Oh, not the bees. I mean... God damn it. Oh, Nicolas Cage, you are a special, strange man. Oh, hey, look, it's Onyx. I feel like every once in a while we should just come over here and let this Onyx know who's the boss. Oh, it didn't die in one hit. Boo. I was saying boo earns. That's all. I just wanted to hurt that Onyx's feelings. Probably not necessary, but whatever. Alright, Guide, you have Oh, you have Shadow Ball. That's... I don't know if that's better than Dark Pulse or not, but they're about on the same level, so... Dark Pulse has like a 20% chance to flinch, I think is what its effect is. It's secondary. So, since the Pokemon I'm going to teach it to is slow as shit, it probably is technically better to get Shadow Ball, but you know. That really is a level of, well, I would say that's sort of a level of sweatiness that I don't think we get into here, but I did stream Poke Rogue eons ago, back when that was like a popular thing, and before the one developer quit and also went completely insane at the same time. And hey, I will admit, yeah, I streamed a game that later turned out to be made by someone bad. I often question like how much I'm actually permitted to judge when people are like, "Oh yeah, I like this thing, but this person who made it is bad." Like outside of Harry Potter, obviously, fuck you for that if that's your thing. But you know, every once in a while, it's like, yeah, I feel like, shouldn't I be distancing myself? But I also realized recently, so recently when I was listening to my collection of music, Cemetery Gates by Pantera came up. And I don't know how many of you are aware of the fact that Pantera's lead singer, Phil Anselmo, at a concert a few years ago, I think it was like the Dime Bash concert too. So one of the ones that was held in honor of departed guitarist Dimebag Darrell, who died in a really horrible incident while he was playing with Damage Plan. So anyway, the story here is that Phil Anselmo was drunk as fuck. Like he was not so much in his cups as he was in his gigantic water cooler sized bottles, all right? But he also, after a song, and he was like quite abusive with the audience too, on top of everything else, I think, but that doesn't matter as much as the part where after a song, he threw a Hitler salute and mouthed the words white power. So, like, yeah, Phil Anselmo is a big fucking racist, dog. And like, honestly, there's a lot of other artists who have done terrible, terrible shit. Like, but also Cemetery Gates is still a song that absolutely fucks. Apparently Dimebag Darrell was pretty shitty too. Like, and by that I mean he was at least a guy who was a little bit too much of a fan of George W. Bush. So, while some people will be like, oh, well, that's not that. I personally think that if you are even a little bit like not complete in your disgust for George W. Bush, that's not a positive thing for you either. Comes out here shitting on a guy who's been dead for 20 years. Which means it doesn't really matter that much. Oh, you are just rude. This thing could have used an actual attack, but instead it just made me vulnerable to Sandstorm. That makes me even unhappier, but yeah, it's like, again, I let's put it this way. I'd feel bad if I got in afterwards and knowing about this person being a complete tool bag, because that would be like, hey, you know about this and you still made this decision on purpose. That does not reflect positively upon you, motherfucker. But anyhow, enough of that depressing shit. Let's go back to me trying to scrounge up another bumping into a Palpitoad. Look at this thing. It's real goofy. This probably belongs in more of like a Kirby game or something. It doesn't have arms at all. But it has feet. It has very toed feet. T-O-E-D, not T-O-A-D. It's not that frog looking at least, but I guess the idea is supposed to be that it's slightly more evolved than a tadpole, so for it to not have a second set of limbs, it does look a little bit odd. Like some kind of freak creature. Oh shit. This thing I don't think we're gonna be able to beat, but I'm gonna try it anyway. Because, hey, that's a G-Max Snorlax. And listen, we're all friends of the lax around here. G-Lax, yeah. My new rap name, G-Lax. Wait, what? Anyway, how can any of you put up with me? You dying out there? Sorry, somebody just sneezed really loudly and screamed fuck afterwards. I have no idea if it's audible, but it's like, oh. How's your neck holding up, champ? What's that? You don't have one left anymore? Gee, I can't imagine why. Oh, yeah, the Magikarp with Hydro Pump. They really did just pull out, like, the most clown-ass Pokemon for this they could, right? Good lord. Ah, yes, the attack's called G-Max Replenish. And it deals damage. Well, that's a little silly. I forget what that does. I think it's like a PP restoration ability or something, or like refresh your berries or something. Oh, I'm surprised that Magikarp attack actually managed to push Lax down to shield phase. Incredible. And by that I mean, oh, I'm so dead. Oh boy. Actually, that did like nothing, didn't it? That was less than 100 damage. Oh, that Weavile is not going to be doing anything for a while. Soon. Yeah, continue using ass urines. Well, at least we get to break the barrier because of that Holucha wasting a turn, which means that I think we do an amount of damage still anyway. Hopefully. I can't wait for my buffs to disappear, by the way. Like, that's gonna happen pretty soon. Ah, good job not being able to put my Dynamax bear thing to sleep. Yes, good work, buddy. He actually chose an attacking move. That pleases me. And somehow this Magikarp has not gotten its fish parts kicked in yet. Oh shit, it does another barrier phase. Good. I'm glad. And there's the buff purge. So hey, rip all those max knuckles I did. Wow, that's a lot of damage that that bird took all in one go. Glad to see I'm going to be the only person doing anything for a couple turns here. Oh, yeah, it's dead. Yep. Yeah. Again, I didn't think that there was a chance that we were going to get through this. But also, again, this Snorlax is getting many turns for being a Snorlax. I'm waiting for it to just suddenly be like, oh yeah, by the way, here's a quick attack or a similar move. Because, like, screw you. Oh, by the way, I love how that still debuffs me even after I... even though I'm not dealing real damage to it. And that's it. But, like I said, my expectations for that were not high. But hey, we got what we came here for. Where can I check how many watts I have? Do I have to, like, go to the save menu? No, apparently I have exactly 3,000. Okay, so in that case, let's go fly back to the very beginning of the wild area. Save real quick. Again, just to make sure that Shadow Ball is actually, like, usable by the Pokemon that I want to use it. I wish it was easier to farm that stuff up like League points in Gen 9, but I'll live, probably. Oh yeah, hey, look at all this shit that I can... I should probably give Close Combat to Build a Brawl, so that way it can still have its, like, 2 speed instead of 1. Oh, hey, that's cool. Yeah, 2 of my Pokemon can actually learn Shadow Ball. Wow. Wow. Yeah, we're dumping Shadow Claw, because that's... When it comes to damage, that ain't it, Chief. At least not for that Pokemon. Let's fly to right outside of Hammerlock. And it's sandstorming here, too. God, why is it just sandstorming everywhere here today? What? Why? This place is horrible. Oh good, there's Choodles out here today, so this is even worse than usual. Amazing. I appreciate on some level that they were like, hey, yeah, it's Clown Day. We're gonna give you the most clown weather possible. To which I don't really have a strong counter-argument. Oh, hi, grapple locked. Oh, hey, there's a wild Umbreon in case we want a Pokemon that doesn't do very much. I mean, it's not useless or anything, but we're looking at in-game here, and, well, Umbreon is more of a stall-based Pokemon, so If you are thinking, hey, yeah, I'll play stall in-game, that's a choice, alright. A very strange choice. I'll fight this grab lock for free EXP. Yeah, exactly. Let's go with that. Certainly using Choodle is less respectable, but using Umbreon is probably a little bit tiring. But hey, get back. Well, hopefully this Mantine will be worth some of the other kind of fake money in this game. Are you folks ready for when Gen 10 drops and they add real money in addition to the various forms of fake currency that they have in the main game? And then all of the glazers are just going to be all over it. Just like, oh yeah, that's fine, guys. And then all the freaks who are going to start, you know, once again, then all the freaks are going to start once again gassing up Pal World as if that's a worthy alternative, right? Cassette Beast is right there. It has a crab that's a traffic cone. You fucking morons. You tasteless pieces of Sorry. I had a bit of a hiccup there. Oh, this thing. This is a pretty far out there area. Is this going to be high level? Like, weirdly high level? That's not that weird, I don't think, but still. What'd I bump into? Oh, it's a Bonsley. That's an underwhelming Pokemon that eventually evolves into Sudowoodo, which is one of the best Pokemon, so I mean... in the end, where does it all end up, right? With this thing not dying in one hit because it has Sturdy. I mean, really, if I wanted to go and charge up my amount of having the ability to do this stuff, I probably would want to go to the DLC regions and go investigate all of their dens, but also, I don't feel like doing that. Oh, yeah, I can barely see these things in the brown grass here. Oh, hey, it does actually have a mouth that it opens. Wow. I feel like I've very, very rarely seen that. So, I mean, of course it would. It's some kind of hippo thing, apparently, but... yeah. And it's gonna rest. Wow, rude. Rare bone. Hey, it's sunstone in a completely shaded location. Wow. That's a pretty good amount, I think, of energy to pick up. At least for now. I think we've tagged all the raids that are available at the moment. I'm pretty sure these rotate on a flat 24-hour cycle, strangely enough. So since we did a fair chunk of wild area stuff late last stream, a lot of this just might not be available right now. And instead of just killing time out here until then, I am going to go back towards the league, and we're going to at least go deal with our cutscenes and stuff. This is where we're supposed to go, right? Is the monorail area here? Someone's got a noisy bird Pokemon in here. Oh. That came up faster than I thought it would. I was pressing A little too soon. Stadium. Okay, so... Oh, there was a... Oops. There we go. Oh, hey, look at this big bird. Nah, I'm good for now. I mean, I can literally just use the elevator that's also right there. But I think they just needed to have a guy in here who could say governor, you know. Some random... random fellow to use a very contrived British accent. And what's going on over here? Is this the... Yeah, this is where the gift shop thing is. Let's ride our bike up some stairs, it's fine. You know, completely normal thing to do. I mean, it's doable, but also not that simply, that's for sure. Hey, thanks, ball guy. Hypnosis or yawn. We're all the way at the end here. You can say spore, dude. Hop, shut up. Yeah, take a look at this whole medallion, buddy. Only 4 people have completed the gym challenge. Is that what you're telling me? Really? That sounds like a little horse pucky, but okay. I think leading off with the bird is probably just usually the right choice, yeah. You know, usually just put a bird in front of people, it'll do something. Alright, so Marnie is probably going to be doing things the same way as usual. You like dark types? You like poison types? Well... Oh no, not Torment. I'd be surprised if this thing lives through a turn. Yeah, it's level 47. Wow, it actually did. Okay. Sure. Yeah, just setting numbers up like that so that way the AI can flex and throw a full restore, because I didn't remember to buy anything. Whatever. It's fine. Items, what do I need those for? Get off of that. Oh no, not my special attack. Ooh. You can't see the hand motions I'm making here, but they are probably the sort of thing that might get me in trouble on Twitch. Depending on what kind of sense of humor any of the administrators have. And I'm assuming not fucking much. Oh, you're about to send that thing in? Yeah, I highly doubt that's living through even a single attack here. I was waiting for it to pull an air balloon out of its ass, honestly. The way this game is sometimes, it feels like a fair expectation, you know? Just, oops! Have a look at this thing that I'm using to cheat with. Because you see, air balloon actually plays a message when a Pokemon has it and they enter the fight. Yeah. Bye, Scrafty. You fool, this isn't Gen 5 anymore. About to send out Toxicroak. So, before I do anything with that, do I have other Psychic types that are not on, like, stupidly slow Pokemon? I mean, Build-A-Brawl can Zen Headbutt. Magistas has a chance of dying from that, so. Because this thing does damage occasionally. So instead, we will just erase this thing from existence. As long as we don't hit the 5% miss chance, but we'll be fine. And you are out of here. What's your last Pokemon? Grimmsnarl. Grimmsnarl is a dark fairy type, which, well, first of all, you're just pulling this Pokemon out of nowhere. It kind of surprises me. But second of all, I have to think about what I can do that I can deal with this. And by that, I mean, I'm looking up to see if it has any double weaknesses, and shockingly, it does not. Looks like the kid forced to participate in gym class with that uniform. A little bit, yeah. Oh, you really think that you're that good, do you? It's quite kind of funny. Look at your Pokemon's dumb hands. They look monstrously silly. Excuse me. She looks so bored. I didn't see what Pokeball she had. Oops. And yeah, here's Gigantamax Grimmsnarl. They just put Grimmsnarl's head on a body with, like, significantly more humanoid, normal-ish proportions. Like, that's just a dude with another Pokemon's head on. What I'm saying is, I'm pretty sure someone is attracted to that. Bug Buzz. Nah, I'll keep my current moves. Oh, whoops. Someone in the chat's been red for fail. Hooray! A really easy fight because she used, like, 2 Pokemon types. Wow, it's just like fighting a Team Rocket grunt. But with more Pokemon. Oh, it's this kid. Oh, you're about to get your ass handed to you, dude. I don't know who he's fighting, but he's about to get his ass handed to him. I assume. Oh, I'm surprised by that. Alright, so, did we get fully healed? Yeah, we got fully healed. I'm thinking we might want to go a little bit more aggressive to start out here. Means let's put Drill up front. Oh, Drill. Oh, tweets full of words. Oh, buddy, they won't even let me fuck the flag. Wait. Look at this absolute loser. He's gonna have a bad time. Oh, he's opening with his big sheep. Yeah, the thing he's had for the whole time. I just didn't remember any of his... I don't remember any of his Pokemon except for his goofy rabbit, so... Oops. It's alright. Yeah, I wasn't convinced that thing would be a threat. Get that shit out of here. Hey, nice. Gained a level in the middle of the match. About to send in Snorlax. Well, I know how to deal with Snorlax. And it's with the thing that I didn't use that TR on. Whatever. It's clobbering time, dude. And for once, it's a Pokemon that I don't have to worry about being slower than all the competition. Because for Snorlax that I have like 7 levels on outspeeds me, that's fucked. Hop, shut the fuck up. You've been saying the same thing through every single one of our fights. We don't need it anymore. It's the end of the game and there isn't an extra story section after this. You bag of tools. I actually don't have a good answer for Corviknight, shockingly. I just suddenly realized, oh, right! I have to just hit this thing as hard as I can. Which... well... Let's do some math, everybody. So we've got Shadow Claw. This is a poor choice. This is a poor choice. Snipe shot? That's probably stronger. Oh, no, hell no. With this thing's Rock Slide, or Shadow Claw for that matter. Drill has a chance to outspeed and even flinch with Rock Slide, so I'm going with that as I go for, like, the most buffoon move possible here. God, how did they do that with the fucking... Wait, what? Hold up. Oh, okay, because I missed with Rock Slide. Of course. Me sitting here thinking about how good that could be, and then it doesn't happen. Oh, hey, that actually did slow me down enough to not go first. Which is a shock because Excadrill is that fast. And Corviknight is just kind of like mid-speed, if I recall correctly. Like, it's decently fast. It's a bird. It moves at bird speeds, but, like, not as much as you would think, really. Anyway, Pincurchin, this thing probably can't live, and it's very slow. I know that. Like, Pincurchin is slower than dirt. I could have thrown Hatterene out there if it had a one-hit kill move. Nope. Ah, look at this dork. And now if we don't get a one-shot, welcome to some weather back and forth. I'm sure. Yeah, see, he doesn't even Gigantamax his starter, which, I mean, fair enough, but maybe those weren't released at this point. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, Hop, you almost had one good Pokemon on your team, and then you're you. So, like, it was all for nothing. Come back when you've got Tauros or something. Now, hold on a second. Didn't we start in the semifinals, and then that was the semifinals as well? So is this, like, double elimination or something? Wait, no, that doesn't... That's not how that would work with 4. 2 losses and you're out type of thing. Sorry, that's not double elimination. Or maybe it's supposed to just be Swiss, and, like, we don't fight the 4th trainer for some reason. Or is it not considered the finals until we fight the gym leader? Champion. Oh, hey, do you like cutscenes? Because this is a Pokemon game, a thing that you know has been, you know, well known for cutscenes. We came, we saw, we kicked its ass. Yeah, I knew he was a loser the whole time. Yeah, I think we got that. I think he's lost, dude. That's just like a thing that he's really good at. Huh? Is he? I mean, you could at least, like, doodle us a really bad map or something. Because that's what I would expect anyone in a video game to do for me, is... If I ask you to give me a map, I don't expect it to be good. So we're gonna go cause problems because it's something that we don't know about. Alright then. Sure. I appreciate also that we're just sort of planning to cause shit at a big building like that, just out in the middle of this hotel where there's plenty of people. Who could hear about the fact that all these punks are just gonna go barge into this business building. Oh, this is stupid. Again, like, this guy really is just a complete fucking idiot. And everybody involved here just like... We are not talking about clever individuals. Like, oh yeah, sure, I could just not give you any way of getting to the tower, but... Rose is an idiot, so I'm gonna play along with him instead of doing the thing that's smart. After which point, I mean, we could, like, commandeer a bird cab or something, but... I guess, but... anyway, yeah, it's incredibly goofy. Hey, wow, who could imagine a Pokemon game being goofy, right? And also just sending us off on this stupid, boring, find the difference minigame. Hey, go wander around town, and admittedly we are finding a fair chunk of items hanging out here, but it also is just like a strange choice to pad the game out some more, and as if a Pokemon game in this era needs it, right? If I wanted to pad out a Pokemon game, I could do that myself by just playing badly. Now, remember, we're looking for a league dude who has the ugly black shades, as opposed to the equally ugly yellow shades. Also, I would assume that he's still in town. He didn't leave. That would be a little cheesy, but also would be the smart move. Get over here. I don't think we have. Yeah, okay, try to check, like, as much as possible. Since I could absolutely see them trying to hide this guy, like, just outside of the camera. Oh, hey, Black Sludge. That's useful under certain circumstances. And those circumstances are... I am not running a poison type. But if I was... Now, let's go check back in front of the hotel, even though I would assume that the guy would actually move. Also, I like that the guys that fade in and then they just have to snap into their idle animation, as it just takes them a couple of frames. Wow, it's like they're just loading in entirely there at all, but... that's a smarter move than just having the entire world map loaded constantly, like in some Pokemon games I could mention that perform like absolute dog shit, but I won't go there for now. For the time being, this dude's facing away, so... oh, hey, look, we get to fight the random goon. And this, I think, is the first time that we see the name Macrocosmos in this entire game. And learn that this is the name of Rose's company, at least in a sideways sort of manner. It's possible that I've forgotten already, but... yeah, let's just say that no matter what you can say about the overall quality of the plot in this game, they definitely did not necessarily integrate it in a way that's very good. And I'm not here to blame them for being like, oh yeah, it's a Pokemon game, we don't need to care that much about the plot. I get why somebody would come to that conclusion, because gesticulates at the quality of most Pokemon games. And of course, now we have to go chase the guy down again, because fuck you. Why not make this a huge pain in the butt? Alright, so I can't get a good look at this dude. Oh no, I see his glasses now. Okay. You fool, turning your face to look at me. Yeah, that is kind of true, is that maybe I shouldn't say who fucking cares, because I fucking care. But you know, Nintendo is definitely not super concerned with that, because I don't think people say things that get to Nintendo, right? Like, they'll talk about it in fan forums and stuff, and in their Discords, and they'll develop fan games and whatever. But listen, I'm trying to figure out where I'm supposed to go with this, because I just said listen, and it's like, oh right, how was I gonna put it? First of all, I think that they just take all engagement as equal, right? As step one of it. So then there's also people who are just like, oh yeah, anything that they do with this franchise is good, which is how you get the people who gas up whatever appears to be a competitor, or, you know, whichever one is the most audacious in this case, because, hey, Cassette Beast continues to be... I'll stop that. I also specifically follow an account on Blue Sky for a game called Beastie Ball. I haven't, like, played it, and it's more of, like, a sports-oriented thing, but I follow that right now. I followed Temtem on Twitter. There are plenty of independent scaled Pokemon competitors. Anyway, I'm getting off topic because this is technically me just ranting about one AI using shit for brain company. And this dude's hiding in a phone booth. Get out of here. What do you think this is? Doctor Who? But yeah, also, that is sort of the thing, is that I think there's also a bit of a problem where the non-fans aren't really doing much to actually really make their discontent heard, right? I mean, obviously, there's people who won't shut the fuck up about how Pokemon is apparently so much worse now. But these people are still hate buying the product. And what do you think the corporation is going to take away from that? Something that only thinks in terms of how far in the black they are. Right? I mean, I have a little bit of nihilism about the idea too, and also I recognize that sales numbers mean nothing, blah, 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 Metroid. But I feel that not continuing to purchase their products, you know, voting with your wallet is a thing that's real, right? Yeah, which is remarkable because, say what you will about the quality of the gameplay or anything, it does actually kind of look like Z to A might actually be significantly more finished than Scarlet Violet. But I digress. Yeah, the franchise is just in a state where it is so deeply encapitalismed that things are not likely to change. Oh no, a roadblock. This time it's not made of sheep, so that means that we can actually beat it. Does Zeta 8 count as Gen 9? I say that the Legends games count as spin-offs. In very much the same way that, like, Pokemon Colosseum and Gale of Darkness did. Because, to me, those are kind of spin-offs. I mean, I guess the remakes are a type of spin-off, too, but I digress. Yeah, look at this dude's double Vuvuzela. I've never mentioned anything about the double Vuvuzela, but probably because I could not remember the word Vuvuzela. But yeah, I remember when there was a brief period when those were, like, extremely, like, memeable, which is kind of silly because it's just like, hey, plastic noisemaker thing that is vaguely trumpet-ish. It was very odd. And not something offensive or any in that regard. Just like just an odd thing to be like, that's the big thing that we're talking about. But yeah, it was a World Cup thing. So, I mean, hey, I'm willing to bet FIFA loved it because then people weren't talking about what an absolute cunt Sepp Blatter was, but you know, that's one of those things. It's like, let's not even go there because I'll have to remember stuff. I'll have to remember stuff about sports. And that makes me feel really silly. Anyway. Hey, we somehow managed to get to... Oh, hi, Bloodcry. How are you? We're actually quite near the credits of the game. Not near the end of the game, because big asterisk here for anyone who hasn't played a Pokemon game in a minute. I will spoil this, that after every game since Gen 6, so starting in XY, they've had an extra plot that you're thrown into pretty much immediately once you boot the game after you beat it, i.e. view the credits. And starting in this game, they start getting a little bit more, like, important, I guess. I mean, that probably sounds a little bit mean, because let's remember, Ultra Sun Moon also had Team Rainbow Rocket, and I know people love Team Rainbow Rocket, and not without reason. But specifically, I say that it's like, it gets a little bit heavier of a pre-post game kind of like weird limbo, because in this version, that's how we catch the box legendary, and that's what happens with Scavvy also, is that's how you catch your Miraidon and Koraidon, is you have to beat that entire sequence in Area 0. And here we're gonna have to beat a sequence of like traveling around all of Galar to go find the guy with the goofy sword hair, if I recall correctly. When did I last beat this? When it came out, actually, so... Oh, that's a number of years ago. That I can't remember exactly how many offhand. Let's go take a look, because I streamed Brilliant Diamond on here when it came out, and I was looking at that recently because I was grabbing all the Pokemon off of my old save files and putting them into Pokemon Home. And I was kind of appalled to see how far back that was, but oh, this game released on November 15th, 2019. This game is almost 6 years old, so I last was in this sort of area in like December 2019 at most recent. That is horrifying and kind of upsetting. Yeah, I think I've mentioned this before, that I was kind of disappointed, to put it nicely, with how they handled doing like the alternate universe thing in Ultra Sun Moon with regard to Lucamine being a different character. I'm not going to say that it's necessarily like the wrong choice, although let's be honest here, it kind of is. It's more like they absolutely horrendously botched the part where she's supposed to seem different, and it basically doesn't until you get to the top of the area right before you fight Necrozma, basically. I'm sorry, I'm having a bit of a brain fart here with regard to where that was. Probably because I said top, and Vast Pony Canyon is a little bit more linear than that. And I mean, you know, say what you will about the actual idea of changing her as a character. I absolutely do agree, though, that it's like I preferred her when she was actually kind of garbage because, hey, they sort of had a point with what they were doing. We'll put it that way. Yeah, she was a genuinely awful person, and I think that it's not a good choice to make someone who is that much of an unrepentant child abuser into someone who's a hero, and basically her problem is just like, oh, well, she stopped paying attention to her kids because she was hyperfixated on saving the world. That is bad. That's bad. That's awful. That's terrible. That's not good on like any level. But again, setting that part of the premise aside, I just specifically want to cover the fact that like they fucked up real badly. They should have had it be a little bit more than just like, oh yeah, halfway through the speech from the previous game that we still remember, she's suddenly like, oh no, it's not because of that. It's because of this horrible crystal monster that's trying to eat me. Right? It wasn't literally that, but, you know, as if I remember the literal dialogue from Ultra Sun Moon. Anywho, setting that stuff aside. So yeah, regular Sun and Moon were better games from a story perspective, but I think that a lot of people would probably just really love Team Rainbow Rocket in general, and while I could come in here and say that it is a little bit of kind of cynical nostalgia baiting, at least it's fun, and really saying that feels valueless because cynical nostalgia baiting is practically the only thing the Pokemon franchise does. Okay, that's a little bit... I'm stretching that a little bit, but there's quite a lot. Do y'all remember the bit in Pokemon XY where the one area was just Viridian Forest? Like, it was just Viridian Forest. Anyway, Hop, you should probably be leading off with your big bird as long as I'm going to have Excadrill at the front here, but unfortunately, they've never really set up partners to be that dynamic in terms of their party choices. So, instead, just one button, end the fight, you know? Right. It did have that part to it, which is fair, but I think that it also didn't go so far as to totally absolve her of being not prone to good behavior, right? Also, I guess at least Guzma's dad didn't have any similar excuse, so... I don't even remember if that was in Ultra Sun and Moon, because I don't think I finished that game's post-game, because it was just mostly kind of exhausting, really. Yeah, that's what I'm getting at, basically. Anyway, well, I'm more surprised that Hop's Dubwool took so much more damage there. I'm not surprised that Steelix lived through that, because Steelix is a quite durable fellow against physical attacks, which I've definitely mentioned before. So... Oops. There was only so much I could do there, but we chunked that thing massively, so I'll take that. Well, to be fair, a lot of Pokemon plots, I don't know, have a lot to really remember. Like, they did start getting bigger around Gen 3, which was a part where you weren't really active in terms of playing any of that, so yeah, I get you. Yeah, Black, White, Sun, Moon. Scarlet, Violet definitely is one that I want to say they tried. In fact, I think you tried is probably a good statement to say about all of Scavvy in general, but that sounds a lot meaner than I mean it to. At least for the moment. I wasn't as sold on the DLC plots, to put it mildly, but the main plot, it works. Yeah, if they had just given 9, like... Gee, I'd probably even go so far as to say just 3 more months. They probably could have had a game that was significantly more finished. Oh, hey, we're on top of the Sears Tower. Or, I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know of any 1,000+ foot tall buildings in England off the top of my head, so... Like, yes, there's quite a lot that are tall, but skyscrapers? I couldn't name them off the top of my head. Also, she is absolutely losing her marbles, and that's fair. But I have a feeling, Oleana, you are not going to have a good time here. Oh, wow, that thing has actually got speed to it. That's a big shock. And Will-O-Wisp is probably the worst thing that it could do to us. Because damage is damage. Burn is an attack debuff that we'd have to waste turns to get rid of. And constant damage, which, again, meh. We have HP enough for it. This could hurt. It's significantly less than I thought, but it could hurt. And to be fair, with regard to Scarlet Violet, there are a couple of little bits here and there that mean that I'm probably going to be a little less harsh on it than a lot of people would. Wants to learn Fissure? No thank you. I don't need that. Like, there's a lot of just animations that are very high quality in that generation. In Scarlet and Violet. So they worked on the things that were really, that, you know, there's proof that they worked on it, right? Yeah, like the Pseudo-Widow that just runs at the speed of absolute GTFO. That's pretty good. There's quite a few others that are quite solid. The designs are very good. One that I love in terms of, like, funny animations is when you climb up around the rim of the crater of Paldea, you can see Garchomp up there, and it gets around by flying around like a shark. Sharks obviously don't fly, they swim, but you get what I'm saying. Yeah, they did not do any sort of optimization work on it whatsoever, and in fact, I don't know if this is still the case, but I remember when it came out that somebody posted something where they had found out that Scarlet and Violet had a very special issue of loading the entire map at the same time. Even when you're like, even shit that you're like far away from, everything was loaded in. Not necessarily like all the models were rendered at any point, but like they didn't know how to be like, okay, maybe we should pull back on that a little bit. And holy shit, this thing is actually faster than us. That is... I forget that Salazzle... Well, mostly I would think that it wouldn't be the case because we have 8 levels. And Excadrill is still, like, super fast. Yeah. Also, we need to note that... that as convenient as full flight is by the end, it controls wrong. There is no polite way to put it. That is not correct. I don't have a full restore. That's a very big shock, actually. And to be honest, this isn't really the right Pokemon to leave in against this thing anyway, so... This may just be a moment where I take a fall. And no, I really can't do that right now, can I? It's possible. Let me go take it. Let me take a look again. Can I not sort in the middle? What do you mean I can't sort in the middle of battle? What? That's weird. So yeah, apparently they're just that's a new wrinkle. I'm at a bit of a loss for words here. That's a choice. Also, I forgot that hyper potions are only 120 in this gen. Ouch. Okay, so new solution here is that I'm just going to switch. And we're going to deal with this with our big bird, because usually a pretty big bird will does quite a lot for you, actually. What a good Pokemon. I'm glad that they were just like, hey, yeah, let's make this generation's Pidgey just absolutely cracked. Thank you, Game Freak. I appreciate how cavalier you are towards the idea of game balance. It's fun. Attract, huh? That's only slightly irritating, but I think I'll be able to live. I've got Burn Heal. That's right. I was ready to deal with Blaine. And that's all I need. Like, what? 50 HP? I can probably deal with Garbodor with that. I just want to make sure that I'm dealing full damage when that happens. Because, yeah, I do remember that Oleana's ace is Garbodor. And she Gigantamaxes it, and G-Max Garbodor is really funny looking. It's got a whole boat stuck in it. And then her face just goes back to normal, and her after that cut in. I didn't notice that at first, but like she's just in her normal like calm face and not seething. Huh. Anyway, hey, look, it's another instance of me Dynamaxing Excadrill. Wow. Wow, I'm so original, you guys. And yeah, cool design, but we don't get to see it for very long. Whoops. And you are out of here, fella. Whoop. Can we at least get healed, because in case there's like a boss fight or anything. There usually is. Alright, can we shove that guy out the window? I mean... Also, the name's in all capitals, but only in this cutscene. And yeah, see? Leon's bringing up a point, even if it is, again, focused on, oh, on the champion, that's, you know, this isn't a thing that matters at this point. It's not like this is an energy crisis that we have to worry about tomorrow, like anything to do with oil ever will be. Meanwhile, this absolute doofus was out here in his pajamas and no fucking pants several times earlier in the game. The zoom in on my emotionless face. Well, I... Just relax, Hop. This is why you keep losing. I mean... Yeah, sure, just... cut through all the... little bit of that. And hey, Retro. Time to go battle the champion. Assuming that he actually knows how to get here. I mean, he could get lost, who can say? He probably has, like, handlers, though, to tell him how to get places, so... Oh, so are we actually fighting more than just the champion for this? Oh, okay, so this is our so-called Elite Four, right? Is that we have to fight various various gym leaders. Let me look at the bracket. But only authorized people are allowed to area with all the snacks? What a load of shit. I probably should have remembered to buy healing items, but I'm not, like, super concerned or anything. Although, maybe I should be. All right, well, here's our finals. Oh, hey, there's Bede in his new uniform. Ah, yes, he's challenging us to a mask battle. Wait. The, the joke here is supposed to be Lucha Libre, but that's the wrong area. Well, let's fight this little gremlin. He's probably going to have basically the same party as usual. Oh, he is at least opening with a steel type to counterbalance his fairy type a little bit here. So now you got to fight it with steel's weaknesses, and unfortunately we get we start by dealing with an intimidate. That's slightly bothersome, but we can make this work. Send in Gardevoir. Now, I'll just send in Corvid to deal with that one, because I want my attack stat back, damn it. I assume that his final Pokemon is Hatterene, but I can't remember. Oh, he's only got 4 Pokemon. Also, this thing is faster than my bird. That's a shock. That's mostly because I just kind of like Gardevoir's speed is really middling, right? But maybe the bird is actually that slow. Do I not have an ability change? No, I don't. I don't remember where you can get an ability capsule in this game. Presumably it's just a lucky drop from raids, but I don't remember offhand, so... Anyway, Rapidash is Poison Fairy, so this thing is weak to Earthquake. 67, that's... that's both faster and slower than I thought it would be, so... Huh. Because I figured it's either going to be, like, 50 or less, or it's going to be, like, really high. Leaning into either it being steel or being a bird. But that's, well, that's somewhere in the middle, so... Anyway. We'll go Gigantamax, well, regular Dynamax, because it's this guy. Just to round this fight out, really. And... I should confirm the kill. We probably had it anyway, but... Let's go all the way here. Y'all need to see more cutscene. Wait. No, you don't. I actually really like Gigantamax Hatterene's design. I just think that it's a shame that a lot of these Gigantamax forms are tied to what ultimately has been my least favorite out of the various gimmicks in the entire franchise so far. Despite the fact that I like most of the G-Max designs. If they had them at normal size and everything, that would be, well... a little more interesting, I guess. Anyway. As usual, Excadrill is just cleaning house because it is a grotesquely overpowered Pokemon. And now Beat has just decided that he's not going to pull his Luchador mask, and he's just going to be like, well... well, never mind. I didn't have a real plot arc, even though I had a lot of points for it. There was nothing to connect it. Waka waka. Welcome to Pokemon, everybody. Alright, now can I take a look at the... No. Of course I can't take a look at the bracket. Because all they've got for this is surprise. Fuck. Didn't want to see that as our opening offer here. That's disappointing. Hopefully her first Pokemon is something that has like a dual type I can just deal with very easily. Ah, it's Golizapod. So, yes, because I can chuck rocks at it. I probably don't outspeed this, and especially not with First Impression, because obviously it's going to use First Impression as like the source. No. Well, that was a string of events. Why would you not use First Impression to get the chip damage, even against something that's not weak to it? Get out. Let's see something that is liable to possibly give me some issue, actually. But we'll just go for shock and awe, basically. This might hurt. And by might hurt, I mean, ooh boy. That was 150, I think, damage there. But thankfully, Barraskewda is made of paper. So we can just crush that thing underfoot. About to send Golizapod back in. I know what can deal with that. It's big and it's feathery and it's made of metal. Wow. Hey, look, it's this thing I just keep using because it's this good. What if we just gave you better Skarmory as your Pidgey for the game, right? Thanks, developers. How incredibly sickening of you, but I approve. Wants to learn Healing Wish? No. About to send in Seaking. Fuck yeah. That... we can deal with that. I'm pretty sure an Energy Ball will put this thing into... Oh, I forgot where I was going to go with this one. Oops. Anyway, send this thing back down the turlet. Oh, it lived. Unfortunately, that's not a move that's a good use of your time, you fool. Alright, who's up next? Pelipper. Pelipper is an unfortunate Pokemon for me to have to deal with because I don't have any electric moves on this team at all. So I think, once again, our options are going to come down to, well, first of all, me checking my stats here. And I guess Magistus is going to be our shock and awe for this thing. It could be the shock itself if it had access to any electric moves, but I guess they really wanted to make sure that this wasn't just Gardevoir, but slow. Oh, god damn. That's actually much worse than anything else this could be doing right now because of the confusion. It's alright, we won the coin flip. I think they changed the odds of confusion doing self-damage, but mentally, to me, that's always going to be a 50-50. And I'm going to always refer to it as a coin flip as a consequence. Ooh, stat down. So if she full restores again for some reason, well, we will be able to deal with this in one hit. Okay, so I guess it's more like, hey, if we hit ourselves now and she roosts twice in a row, then get that shit out of here, basically. And now, Dreadnought. Dreadnought is double weak to grass. So, we have a way of dealing with that. Gee, if you think Dreadnought is your best Pokemon, you really do not have much confidence in the quality of your team, do you? And yet, here's the high collar Dreadnought. Look how protected I am. Unfortunately, that thing is super gone. Whoa. Wow, you guys, have they considered having like more trainers than just, oh hey, here's the old gym leaders? I guess that they have kind of wanted more instances of bringing back characters that we recognize from elsewhere in this, elsewhere in the games. Because I think about it a little bit. The Elite Four from previous games, like all the way up through Gen 6, they didn't really exist at any point elsewhere in the lore. So maybe they wanted them to be like recurring characters a little bit, how the gym leaders get introduced as such. Anyway, our next fight is against B. So, Put our bird at the front. That's how we're going to deal with this. And I'm assuming that after that we have to deal with Raihan. Because surely the way that's going to hash out, right? Opening with Hawlucha, that's a pretty decent Pokemon. But also, it's just going to get Drill Pecked. It's not going to do no damage to me before I get a chance to do anything to it, though. But hey, that's fine. We got a couple of Pokemon to deal with her stuff, so I'm sure everything will work out okay-ish. Plus, if she has any slower Pokemon, that's just free HP recovery for us. Like, Phalanx. Plus, Phalanx would probably want to set up as well by doing no retreat. But I wouldn't really have confidence in those stats. Well, never mind. Oh no, it's skipping straight to dealing damage. Surprised, actually. Yeah, go ahead and waste that full restore. I can just fish for a crit then. I won't get it, but yeah, we even rolled low damage this time, at least compared to last time. Oh, now it's going in with the real attacks. Again, a thing I should have taught to build a brawl already, but I forgot to. Whoops. Sending Grapplock. That's a Pokemon that technically exists. I got a better idea on how to deal with this thing, though. We'll switch the bird out for a bit. And let another one of my fighting counters. I actually have 3, because I forgot that Fairy type is super effective against fighting, because I'm forgetful. Yeah, and if this thing is just going to waste a turn doing Octolock, it's probably dead now, so. Surfetched. Yeah, we'll stay in for that too. Surfetched is also a Pokemon that's a little bit slow moving, if I recall correctly, so I might be able to get away with... Never mind. I was going to say I might be able to get away with not taking any damage here, but I was wrong again. About to send in Machamp. Now we switch to Rabombi. And Buzz Bomb can handle this, I'm sure. This will probably be a one and done.
You see, in order to skip Blanco, you gotta get past.
Oh, I didn't
first.
hear the.
How
I
many
didn't hear the
people get
Gutsman
past
noise.
Solvarin? It's not a lot. Oh,
That's-
and good luck.
That's huh. Where's my Gutsman noise? That's weird. I didn't hear it anyway. Oh, it might just be the audio balance being shit. So that's probably my fault, but also it's too late to change anything. I could go in and just make the noise louder in Streamlabs sometime. Just see if it makes everybody deaf at some point, I guess. Oh, I see it's got Fire Punch as one of its moves. Well, that was quite painful, but we lived through it, which is admittedly kind of a shock because Rabombi is a serious glass cannon. Oh, hi, Brian. Your Bob's glass can... Buddy, I heard her sneeze really loud earlier and yell, fuck, she might have... no, she probably didn't hurt herself sneezing, but it almost sounded like it for a second. Anyway, how's it going, champ? How's your prep work for the upcoming... I almost said finals, no, playoffs of the fun thing there. Wow, listen to me talk. The Tecmo Super Bowl quarter quell. With 2 incarnations of the San Francisco 49ers, because, hey, yeah, it usually does feel like give rings Niners save time. Oh, hey, Gordy is not here, strangely enough. There's 4 games left to go on the current editing. Second last stream. Gotcha. And since I have not been keeping count and haven't shown up for all of them, how is the Super Smash TV tournament going? How deep into things are that? Is that? There we go. Because there's definitely been at least a couple of streams, and I think all of them have been multi-match affairs. So would be done if we fit into match. Well, that's not bad. Ah, Boo Earns. Well, you know, scheduling things, right? That's how it do sometimes. So, in turn, here's what we're doing with our current loadout, is we're bringing these 2 up front. Because if we're going against Raihan, there's every possibility that we're going to be subjected to another double battle, because that was his whole bag, other than not actually being the dragon type trainer, despite the fact that that's ostensibly what he is. He's got a bunch of stuff. He's got weather, mostly weather, really, but let's see what we can do against this guy. And by that, I mean... this might turn into a train wreck. But we'll find out then. We'll find out during the battle. Oh, he's just doing solo. Alright. So he's leading off with Torkoal, and I am sitting here leading off with Excadrill. This is a decent choice. So obviously, Torkoal is setting Sun immediately. But... you know, look at this thing. You can probably guess that it's a little bit more physically oriented on the defense. So our options here were not necessarily the best, but we're doing what we can with what we have. And oh, hey, we managed to one-shot it. Nice. That actually happens shockingly rarely with that Pokemon, because Torkoal has a defense stat that is real good. So to one-shot it, that kind of just shows you that Excadrill is strong as fuck, really. Again, considering that Excadrill is it's only the first evolution. It doesn't evolve past this, but it's only a 2-stage line. But that does kind of show you that this thing was massively overspec'd. Good work, Gen 5, for making a disgustingly overpowered piece of crap here. Flygon. Flygon is going to be handled by Ice Beam. He's sending out a lot of double weak Pokemon, so that's a choice, all right. But I know that he's got Duraludon in his party, which, again, Steel Dragon. We are not going to be hitting that thing for 4x damage, that's for sure. But we might be able to put a real huge dent in it with, well, some of our strong Pokemon overall. And he's sending in Goodra. So, Goodra's a pure Dragon type. We are basically on a pretty similar level in terms of our ability to hurt it no matter what we throw in here, probably. I am going to do some annoying stat math. Yeah, Steel Dragon is still weak to ground, still weak to fighting, and we have a solid supply of damage of those types. So we're definitely... it's going to have a bad time. We're going to do what we usually do with it, and that's hit it with an Earthquake. And by what we usually do with it, I mean... we've only seen it once in this game. I don't know if I even streamed running into any of those on either Scarlet Violet or... no, surely we ran into one of those in Pokerogue. Because I'm pretty sure that had Archaludon, and Archaludon is, like, disgustingly gross. Because they looked at one of their very good Pokemon they added for this generation and were just like, let's give it an evolution! And that was a very silly thing for them to do, because it does not need one. Ouch. That's a fair chunk of damage. Goodra is very specially defensive, so I'm not shocked that we couldn't one-shot it. If I'd had, like, Play Rough on Build-A-Brawl or something, we might have been able to get there, but it's no biggie. We're gonna switch in Drill, and that is going to cover us in probably one-shotting this dude. But let's find out for sure. I was going to say, I think these dudes' levels are actually starting to get up there, but 55 is not quite. Yeah, I mean, look at this big steel tower. Wow, who could imagine that earthquakes might not be friendly to these? Wow. Who could imagine? Yep. Once again, a one and done. Classic. Replace. Strangely enough, Corviknight doesn't have anything that's super effective against it. So, that unfortunately was out. And he is out of here. So I don't know what Leon has, and I am not going to look it up. I'm just going to lead off the way that I usually would. We may lose a little bit of gamble on this, but let's go for it. Alright, buddy, you just go ahead and continue to exist for some reason. It pretty much is. Let me just make sure everybody's healed. It would be really rude if they decided not to heal me for the last fight. Like, I would totally imagine them doing it too. Wait, no, this isn't a fan game. What the hell am I talking about? And if it was a fan game, they wouldn't heal me ever. You wouldn't even be able to heal at a Pokemon Center in most fan games. They'd just be like, well, anyway. Should have caught a Chansey and collected. Yeah, I know. That's my fault, right? Oh, are we putting off the battle again? Oh, what the fuck? Oh my god. I'm getting upstaged by this fucking idiot? Really? I hope we get to give him the biggest noogie ever. Like, seriously. This absolute jackass. Yeah, I mean, honestly, Leon, he was right there. You could have chucked him out the glass window up there at the top of that tower. No? I didn't even think about that. Just... No, I just picked the water starter because it's really good. Because usually the water starter is like a good choice. Alright, so now we go out to the Slumbering Weald, I guess, instead of going and fighting the guy. As once again, it gives me the wrong information on the map screen. That's funny. Like, I've got to say, the fact that he can't even come up with a different name for it by just then calling it the Darkest Day while saying that he's doing it for... Nothing has ever been called the Darkest Day that is good for anyone! Dude! You are... He's this rich, he owns a fucking 1,000-foot tall skyscraper. He can afford a PR guy to underpay to come up with a better name for the damn thing! I'm so angry about this. I'm playing it up very severely, but like... Good God! Oh right, yeah, I gotta remember that our current president calls his organization Doge. Right. So, uncreative fucking morons. That's just the norm for rich people. I'm a fool. That's the problem. I'm just... My expectations are too high. I genuinely, I hope at like a shocking amount of turns that even people who by all rights are that stupid wouldn't be that stupid. In fact, that's sort of a thing that I did. Oh, right. That's the bong wheezing. I was like, what? Like, what is that graphic? But it's the bong wheezing, right? Derp. And I just clobbered into this bird. You finally got your last Joker? Nice. What was the last one that you were missing, Brian? Just out of curiosity. Because if it's anything like what I'm going through, in order to get anything into the logbook, which it probably would... Oh, I see. Okay. 4-7 of clubs. I'm trying to remember what does that. Because there's one for like a large number of jack of clubs. Or no, I'm thinking of large number of jacks just in general. That unlocks hit the road. But I think I told you to do that one. Yeah, I told you to do that one on like your first stream of it, I think. Because I was like, otherwise this will be really annoying. And it would, yeah. Yeah. So... the Throughout the Royal Flush one was another one that was there, too. I think they're... I don't remember, but yeah. I'd have to double check that. It's... That's not the Onyx Agate, I don't think. That is earned through having a bunch of club cards in the deck, I think. So, yeah. Anyway. Yeah, what I was going to say is that the ones that I'm having difficulty getting into the log are all the ones for, like, that affect certain types of card modifiers, because I find that especially when I'm specifically looking for one of them, the game is just not wanting to cough up those particular tarot cards very often. So, like, getting a gold stamp on Glass Joker in particular was a huge pain in the ass. But it also ended up being quite good once I managed to get it, because after that it's like, hey, yeah, we'll just break all your glass cards by pure luck. The one I see almost not at all is Stone Joker, which I often forget even exists as a consequence. Which, you need a stone card in your deck for that, and Stone Joker is just like plus 25, I think, chips for each stone card you have. Which is pretty easy, but I feel like I just don't get a lot of towers lately. Well, see, you must have better luck for that stuff than I do. Which is, you know, all I can say about that is, well, shit, this guy's probably got better luck than I do. Yeah, the Sword and Shield do exist, and they look a little bit plasticky, but I guess it's supposed to be a rusted sword. Yeah, some metal will turn black when it oxidizes. Usually steel and stuff like that tend to turn more of a reddish orange brown color from rust. Alright, can we fly out of here? Oh, we can press the wrong button. Whoops. You can get a tutorial for a thing that I haven't used for the entire game. Is it over here instead of the town map? Maybe I just left it there last time. Alright. No, that's Motostoke, not Hammerlock. There's two huge... You can call it... You can't call... Why give me the option, then? I gotta go walk out of the... Wait. Can I escape rope out? Hey, look, that key item version escape rope might actually come in handy this time. As we just spin into existence there. Alright, well, we're here for the plot. As ever, buddy, let's do this. And by that, I mean, hold on a second. I got something important to do first. And that is sort my bag by type first. And this Pokemon is going to be the hardest fucking carry I've had in a while, but look. Excadrill is that strong, so why not? I think I'm in the wrong part. Yeah, this is the wrong part of the shop. Whoops. Go over here. Okay, buddy. We're here to buy a bunch of these. Shouldn't need them, but we'll take them anyway. Waking to Pokemon known as Eternatus, yeah. Save him? No, I'm just gonna go beat his ass. Come on. And his big dumb dragon thing, so... Oh, well that... I mean, that's true, but that's not the kind of you can't use that message I would have expected. This is like dropping a bomb on yourself in order to empower nuclear energy. And, like, listen, what nation would drop a bomb on themselves, right? Yeah, if you've never heard of the Samson Initiative. Oh. I don't think I'm allowed to talk about that on Twitch without getting kicked off of the platform, but... Anyway. He's actually starting off with a Pokemon that is not ideal for us to see, because... Escavalier, or Escavalier, or however you want to pronounce it, I am going to have pronounced it wrong just to be annoying, is Bug Steel. Bug Steel is double weak to fire, but that's all it's actually weak to. However, we can just absolutely slam this thing by doing huge amounts of damage. And Ferrothorn. Ferrothorn is another Pokemon in a similar boat. Ferrothorn is kind of known as, like, the king of defensive Pokemon in competitive for reasons related to that. I mean, I think it's also weak to fighting, but only once over. but it has great defensive stats. It has an annoying as fuck ability called Iron Barbs that cause you to take damage when you hit it. If you make contact. And it can use Curse to up its stats. It doesn't care about its speed because it's already slow as hell. In fact, lowering its speed can also buff its move Gyro Ball, which allows it to do very large steel-type damage. So, you know, kind of respect to Rose for using, like, a good team. He's got 2 Pokemon that are slightly problematic for us. And Berserker. Yeah, bug resist fighting, so Excadrill takes only double damage from fire. Ferrothorn, however, takes... well, pardon me, Excadrill takes quad damage from fire. Ferrothorn takes double damage from fighting and quad from fire. Because it's a steel grass type. No, Ferrothorn is grass steel. There's a couple of bug steals, though, because there's Fortress, there's Scizor, and there's Excadrill. And possibly another one, but those are the main ones that I recall. Regardless, we've taken down his entire team, except for Caparaja, who is his ace. You got it? Nice. Seeing double. Oh, right. Oh, yeah, that makes sense for 7 of clubs. Right. Seeing double, or as I tend to refer to it, the Kingdom Hearts Joker. And, yeah, so Caparaja is kind of a mid Pokemon. He Gigantamaxes it, though, and Gigantamax Caparaja has a really nasty effect in actual multiplayer because it sets up an entry hazard that I can only describe as Steel-type Stealth Rock. How'd I get it to 77? I fed it a lot of experience candies and rare candies. And yes, I did just massively pump one of my Pokemon to a level that frankly is a little silly and arguably at the detriment of the rest of my team. But also, Excadrill is so good as a Pokemon that if anything can be like the hard carry of this crew, then yeah. Oh, buddy, don't try to blame random shit for your incapability as a battler. Jeez. Yeah, and as usual, this guy's just like, oh, well, we need to solve this as soon as possible, so we're gonna rush right into... Again, absolute foolish behavior, right? Just complete and total nonsense. Wow, Pokemon plot that's not very... See, I will put the ones that are from the pre-GBA era a little bit higher than I think most people would, because they are so threadbare that they can kind of get away with whatever is in there because there's so little plot. But once you get to this point where they're legitimately trying to make a fairly in-depth narrative, when it's this clown shoes, it's just like, wow, these stories are actually bad. Unlike in, say, Gen 1 and 2, where it's just like, oh, Team Rocket exists and they're causing trouble. Where you can just be like, I mean, I guess there's a little extra detail besides the usual drive to Yeah. Alright, so we... I mean, we already dealt with him. Am I in the wrong place? Do I have to go in the other elevator? I have to go in the other elevator. Don't I? Alright, so here we are on the rooftops. And, like, look at these. They're even nuclear power plant style smokestacks that they have going on. I said before that, like, the whole thing is sort of like an anti-nuclear power thing, either by accident or otherwise, but, you know, they don't have to keep reinforcing my damn argument. Sheesh. He throw it? No, he threw a regular Pokeball. I was like, did he throw a Cherish Ball? That thing is not... Oh, I was going to say, that thing is not wobbling at all. But it did one very late wobble, and it broke out. Alrighty, gang. It's boss time. Eternatus is Poison Dragon type. Which I guess is interesting, but... yeah, it's not gonna like that very much. As we don't see a faint animation for it. We just see some cutscenes. Hey, do you guys like cutscenes in your Pokemon game? I know that's my favorite part of Pokemon. Is long cutscenes, you know? It's a normal YouTuber? Well, it's certainly toxic enough. Boom! As opposed to like Pokemon gameplay would be a start. And here it is, the hand dragon. Eternatus in its Eternamax form. It kind of looks a little bit like, you know, color aside, the sheer amount of polygonal everything is a little bit reminiscent of like Andros, kind of. I think that's because of the mouth shapes being like that. Anyway, we can't do anything because of plot purposes. I almost said porpoises there. Wow. Okay. So, is it going to make me use these out of the inventory? Okay. Apparently not. Again, it's just skipping to the... which, fair enough. But also, huh. Anyway, we hold up the items and we gain access to Zamazenta for some reason as we discover that we woke the wrong dog. No, I'm not going to play Borderlands afterwards. Sorry. That... if anyone here is like, oh, I get it, then I will be upset with you. Nah, it'll be fine. That's right, we got the Foxhound logo on our side. And Hop has a crusty old shield. Or something. Hey, check it out. It's Big Zam. Oh, hey, check it out. It's the Pokemon that they had to nerf into oblivion in Gen 9. Because Zacian was committing war crimes in the competitive scene. And let it not be said, shockingly enough, that Game Freak doesn't pay attention to that. Anyway, it would probably be ill-advised to Earthquake here, so we're just going to Smart Strike. And with a little bit of luck, Big Zam and Zacian actually know how to strategize. Oh, they do! Kind of. I didn't realize that Howl boosted your entire team's attack. I might EQ afterwards, depending on how severely we chip this thing with Smart Strike, because, oh god, yeah, the damage that we need to do with Earthquake is gonna be a lot. We could switch in. There's a couple of Pokemon we could switch in here, really. So let's do this. Again, I don't want to kill my entire ally team because Zacian and Zamazenta, which I've been pronouncing their names wrong differently like every time for a reason, by the way, just because it's really, and that reason is because it's really annoying to people who pay attention to it. Zam, I think, is actually fairy fighting. So it would not really get too badly damaged by EQ, but Zacian would take a bit of... There we go. That's another... Okay, starting in Gen 8. That would make sense as to why I never really knew about that before. So, yeah. Unfortunately, Hop is still sitting here with his sheep because he doesn't actually know how to switch. But, oh well. Right, Psychic is the one we need to use. This thing is Poison Dragon, you fool. Behemoth Bash, I think, is fighting type, unfortunately. Ah, yeah, here comes Secret of the Ooze. Oh, fuck this thing. I hate that it's strategizing. That makes me upset. Well, I'm sort of at a point where I'm thinking just Earthquake it. Because everybody else has chipped it decently for me. I... once again, enter the fight and do absolutely nothing. Hooray! Video games! To note, Eternatus in its Eternamax form has, like, almost maxed out stats. Not completely or anything, but certainly its defensive stats are, like, basically maxed out. Yeah, 255 base HP and 250 in both of its defenses, which is about as close to full as you can get. It has as much HP as Blissey and more defense than Shuckle on both sides. And then it actually has, like, good stats otherwise to boot. So, Ripzation, but we put a big puncture wound in Eternatus there. Try to catch Eternatus now. What if I want to do it tomorrow? Here, get in the ball. Get in the ball, maybe. Wait. Yeah, so I believe this is a guaranteed catch. Eternatus is like their first real attempt at making a true, I would say, boss Pokemon outside of... I guess maybe you could say that the Kyurem forms in Gen 5 are a little bit that. But you cannot use Eternamax Eternatus at all. And they have never changed that, and I hope they never do. So this is supposed to be something that's, like, exclusive to this battle. Whereas you can use the alternate forms of Kyurem by using items on it, and they are really strong. So that's kind of interesting. And again, I like the idea of them having the setup for getting a legendary be go through this boss fight and then you get a free catch. Because they did it with this and they did it with Ogerpon in the first Gen 9 DLC. I think that was okay. It was one of the few parts of the Gen 9 DLC that I didn't hate. They kind of do that with Terapagos a little bit as well, but it's not as good. So, I personally would like to see them bring that back as, like, the mechanic every time they do legendary battles from here on out. Of, like, make it a proper boss and a guaranteed capture. Because I think that is significantly more fun, engaging, and interesting than sitting there chucking like 35 Ultra Balls at Groudon and praying that it stays in, and you have to re-up your Spore every 3 turns. Especially because I feel like all of the more advanced legendaries, with maybe the exception of the ones from Gen 2, have something that you can do with those to make that, like, to add that sort of boss factor there, right? Like, you could have Mewtwo go Mega, or just continue to be Mewtwo, I guess. Or you could have Groudon and Kyogre enter Primal Reversion. Rayquaza can go Mega. There are alternate forms for all of the Gen 4 dragons. Gen 5, you can have that attached to Kyurem. And it can be like a multi-phase thing if you want to. Gen 6, I guess, also doesn't really have that going on. Or, well, Gen 7, they all tie into Necrozma. Let's save before this, by the way. And yeah, Gen 8 and Gen 9, it's just like, yeah, afterwards. I prefer that significantly more as a playstyle than the current incarnation of legendary captures. You know, I like the idea of them being real boss fights. So maybe I need to, like, go find Pokemon Essentials documentation again. And brew something, although that would take a long time. Eesh. Sadly, doing stuff like that with the decompilation of Pokemon Crystal is a little bit outside my pay grade. Anyway, it's time for the champion battle. Let's get this going. And yeah, Gen 5, I think, had, like, good catch rates for the Kyurem Pokemon. Because, also, you did have to catch... yes, I have Rock Slide on it. You did have to catch Reshiram and Zekrom, which that was the first time in the entire series, I believe, where you were required to capture a Pokemon. As far as I can remember. My memory may not be all there, though, so, yeah. Okay, so Aegislash, we did not make contact, so we don't get a debuff, at least. Twice in a... Dude. Fuck right off. That's a 1/3 chance of success. I would never get that. Yeah, they weren't guaranteed catches. They were pretty easy. I'm not running any setup moves on this, so that's fine, though. I am massively over-leveled. I should be able to deal with this guy. Haxorus, I can at least just beat the shit out of this thing, that's for sure. One shot? Probably not, but I can definitely give it a shellacking it'll never forget. Like, oh no, it might have Fire Punch. Earthquake is... Yeah, that makes more sense, but that hurts. That's real damage. I probably could have just gone for something that could go for a one-shot, or at least much closer to a one-shot, but this will be fine, probably. So, I don't know how many full restores he has. I'll switch out for this. And I can use one of my own, and I can just damage this thing the regular way. Because I should be switching into him trying to Earthquake. Yeah, and obviously... Har, har, har. What can you do about that, buddy? He might have some actually good moves in his repertoire here. I don't know what else he's got besides Earthquake. I assume probably like Dragon... Oh, Outrage. Not Dragon Claw, pardon me. That's a good chunk of damage considering, but I think I'm also like a couple levels behind him now. Yeah. Since instead of grinding the entire team, I did the thing that anyone would do who just wants to absolutely speedball through a guy. And I absolutely maxed out my strongest Pokemon. But just use smart switching in order to set up properly. Dragapult. So... Dragapult is Ghost Dragon. We do have Shadow Claw, so we can do some very good damage to it. So... I think we can probably just do that and just ruin this thing. Because our attack stat is that high. Oh, he's going faster than us, which... I mean, I guess fair enough. It does look like a fighter jet. If anything is going to go faster than us on this team, that probably makes sense. Because, yeah, Excadrill is only a base 88, pardon me, movement speed. But that's still quite good, and especially with a 15 level advantage on most of his Pokemon. I'm only mildly concerned that his Charizard might outspeed me, which would be a thing that would do a good chunk of damage. So depending on what his second to last is, it might be ideal for me to let someone take a fall so that way I can jack Buddy Boy's HP back up. Just to keep him absolutely in the pink for this. Oh, he's sending in Rillaboom. Well, we know what we can do about that. And that's set this guy. Rillaboom is a Pokemon that I would probably expect to have something that could at least do neutral damage to Corviknight. So this is sort of a sack play just to make sure that I absolutely max out my own particular ace here. But I'm not sure that I would trust this thing to be faster than Corviknight outside of Grassy Glide. But, you know, that doesn't really count in a case like this. And in general, that's just sort of like, well, of course priority is gonna be faster. Ugh. Ah, you fool. You were ready for something that wasn't gonna happen. I mean, truth be told, I could probably sit here and Hone Claws for a moment and just get set to absolutely lay this guy out. Let him waste turns with Endeavor. There we go. That's what we'll do. Interesting to know that his Pokemon goes faster, though. I mean, not entirely out of the question. Our base speed on this thing is like 60-something, so that's not necessarily like super speed or anything, so yeah. All right, what have you done that 4 times or something? You think he'd learn at some point, but instead, I'm probably just gonna go about just completely, you know, annihilating this thing. Come on. Oh, see, now you remembered you have a real move. And it's knockoff, which is kind of irritating, but hey. Now, I don't imagine for even a second that we can outspeed Charizard, and that thing is going to have our number for sure. Because it's just a fire type, man. Obviously, that thing can kill Corvid. So, GTFO, switch in Drill, and we finish things out the way that we usually do. And in that case, we're putting a little bit of flair on this one. By going Dynamax for that guaranteed hit. What do I want for a Switch 2 reveal stuff tomorrow? A reasonable price point, I think, would be a good start. Like, less than $400. And none of this cheating gutterball shit of like, oh, well, it's $3.99 and possibly some change. No. That's not actually less than $400. And not even in the sense of like, oh, well, it's less than it's $400 after tax. No, that's just $400. You're just fucking lying. Anyway, you know, 300, maybe 350. I'd go 350, but like, unless this thing has graphics, has as much nut on it from a graphical perspective that it can go toe to toe with the PS5, it should be an affordable thing that is like accessible to anyone who would want it. And again, especially because it's Nintendo, you know, the company that makes things, especially for, is better known for being very much in the children's game. I feel like if they're going much higher than that, that's a load of trash. Number 2, I would say either you don't charge for internet service for it, or at bare minimum, you upgrade the service infrastructure, because running on the stuff that you were using for PSO 25 years ago is not going to cut it. Beyond that, I don't know. Maybe a Metroid Prime 4 release date? I mean, I can wait on Metroid Prime 4. It's... Apparently they had to restart dev at one point, so like if it's not going to be another year or so until we get a release date, then whatever. It is what it is. I would like some decent form of like ability to play retro games on it via, you know, presumably via their online service. Again, something like Switch Online, but with a much larger library and even stretching into maybe even as far as GameCube stuff would be nice, but I wouldn't hold my breath on that part. But truth be told, a large part of that just sort of accounts for like, hey, yeah, Nintendo, you have all of these games, get them out of jail, especially if you're going to keep like calling back to them and stuff. That's, you know, I'm sick of no play, only remember from Nintendo. Just what, you know, absolutely awful the way that they're dealing with it. I know that there's licensing problems with some of them, and I'm not going to expect there to be like any of the Square Enix stuff, especially not the Square Enix stuff that gets regularly re-released. Like any of the old Final Fantasies, yeah, I would not expect those to show up on Switch 2 Online. That's a no-go. But surely they could give us Secret of Evermore. Regardless, that's just sort of like a minor thing. In terms of like other things I would want, I just hope the games are good so that way people can be reasonably happy. But also, we are talking about Nintendo. Nintendo probably has some of the most over-the-top fanboys out of any of the main console companies, which is saying a lot because, you know, all of them have their glazers who are a little bit ridiculous. I believe backwards compatibility was confirmed, so at bare minimum, if you get the Switch 2, you can play Balatro and you can play Metroid Prime Remastered, so like you already have a good gaming library already. Like even if this is the most anemic launch and first few months that anybody has ever seen, like if they literally only release, I don't know, a Super Mario Wonder HD or something, you've already got good games you can play on it, and upgrading the hardware is basically just early adoption / future-proofing. So overall, I'm gonna say that my wish list is short, just in general, and just like, please give me a price point that doesn't suck eggs. If you want anything other than that, I think is probably getting into like crazy territory. Like ports of the Game Boy Advance and Teleus Saga Fire Emblem games. I think that probably verges into the like, oh, now you're asking a little too much territory. But on the other hand, I would very much like those because, you know, 3 out of 5 ain't bad, right? Those are some pretty good games overall. Radiant Dawn is Radiant Dawn has some serious mistakes, and Fire Emblem 6 is very, very rough, but otherwise FE7 is kind of the best game in the series. FE8 is kind of the second best game in the series, and FE9 is kind of tied with the second best game in the series. Yeah, Mother 3 would be my, like, have you taken leave of your senses wishlist entry, right? Because while I don't really have much that I can say in terms of Mother 3, quality-wise, I'm pretty sure it's an okay game. I don't have much to say on that one. I've never actually played Mother 3. But Mother 3 in English, I don't think is going to happen anytime soon. And there's a couple of different reasons for that. And the first one, of course, people have said for a while, like, oh yeah, the Magypsies, there would be people who would be which... First of all, I'm gagging a little bit on that name because you take out the first 2 letters of that, and we don't say that word anymore. And second of all, there have been people who have been like, oh, well, you know, the gender illusions there. There's a reason why Nintendo, who can be a little bit too guarded and conservative at times, might be a little bit like, well, we don't want to offend people. So, I feel that there's a low chance there, and also because you get sort of this where people would be like, well, it would be at... I think that, to me, the thing that's even bigger is that I think the backlash about the release of it would be a little bit too large, no matter what they do with it, because either they most likely do their own translation, and then you get people screaming heresy. You know, you suddenly get everybody turning into the Imperium of Man from 40K. I think it's the Imperium of Man. And, you know, everybody just being absolutely mad and wanting their head on a plate for not using the fan translation. Or they do use the fan translation, and you get a lot of people, by and large the same exact people, BT dubs, being mad at Nintendo for being lazy and just using the fan translation. And, like, realistically, I'm sure the fan translation team for M3 would, you know, if Nintendo came to them and were like, hey, we would like to use this, just keep it under your hat for a while, I feel like they would willingly just hand it over and be like, yeah, okay, you can use it. We don't care. We won't even ask for any money for it. So, yeah, Mother 3 is kind of, like, not likely to happen, because, yeah, I think Nintendo, especially Nintendo of America, are a little bit too weenie to do that. Anyhow, so that was the main story of Pokemon Sword. We still have more to do in order to say that we've completed the story, but since we just saw a credits roll, usually I give a review. This game is okay. I don't particularly like a lot of the changes they were doing with this. I would prefer more of like an old style Pokemon game because I'm an old annoying grognard, but also it plays mostly okay, and considering that I've seen what comes afterwards, this is a damn sight better than Gen 9 most of the time. Anyway, let's go in here and make sure that we load properly into like our house or whatever, or watch the cutscene and get some setup for next time when I'll be tackling the post-game story. Yeah, so why don't we go and take a look at that just to round things out. Hey, cool, we got a Master Ball. That's helpful. I mean, yeah, it would be nice if they were a little bit not reckless about it. But we'll find out when we get there. So, wait a sec. Do I have to actually go into the Slumbering Weald to start this little side story? I thought it just kicked over as soon as we, like, stepped out of our house or something. Or do we have to go... I don't remember. Because now it's just like, hey, you beat the game. We're not going to help you for a minute. Until you actually start it properly, at which point we'll tell you where to go. But gotta get there first. So I'm going to assume that we have to go into the depths of the Slumbering Weald. Oh, hey. Just run away from this thing. But yeah, I do agree that when it comes to... That's the main thing that I'll say about any potential Mother 3 is just change that name, because yeah, it's current year. just dodge out of this real quick. Unfortunately, I got sidetracked by the Siren Allure of a TM, so now I have to figure out how to navigate this place in order to get there. Ooh, item. It's an elixir. That's helpful-ish. Phantom Force. That's a move that exists. That's really not my favorite, but it's useful. At least it has an advantage over, like, Dig and Fly in that it can't be hit by anything to increase the amount of they don't take more damage while they're digging or flying from it. There's no move like that. Yeah, what's the deal with you? Oh yeah, is there like a copyright issue with it? I did not remember that there was that much of that compared to Mother 2. But that makes sense. Oh, so I guess I gotta fight Hop one more time. Well, it's alright. I should be able to beat this guy. That's what we're working on anyway. Assuming that this is the correct location that we have to be in here. There's a Batman song to... Oh, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't know that offhand. That's kind of incredible. Oh, also, Drill didn't learn Iron Head at any point during its leveling. That's odd. Maybe it has to be, like, remembered through remembering moves, which I think requires heart scales even in this game. So, yeah. And he's about to send in Cinderace. I'm feeling at this point like I probably don't even have to... Oh, I can't Dynamax here. Right, because it's not a gym battle. So they decided to make this a thing that is not usable in the field. That's odd. Move learn. Okay, so if I don't even need heart scales for that, I mean, I could go get it. But Smart Strike seems to be fine, so... It might not be all that necessary. Oh, hey. Didn't get one shot. All right. And yeah, he's using Hammer Arm, which is a great choice on Snorlax because it doesn't care how slow it gets. Snorlax doesn't have speed in the first place. That's right, Snorlax says no to drugs. Wait. Yeah, Cramorant should be fine for us to deal with. We can just Rock Slide it. This incredibly goofy-looking wall-eyed bird. I love Cramorant because it's real dumb. Just, what an absolute clown bird. What a goofy creature. And about to send in Pincurchin. So we must be nearing the bitter end here, right? Because... Oh, that's not even his last Pokemon. He's got one more. What, did you start raising a Charmander? Like the guy that you worship? Oh no, he's got Corviknight, which, again, kind of a real Pokemon. So I'm gonna gamble on crits here by just spamming Shadow Claw. Because that's our main way of dealing good damage to this. We don't have a fire move, which is also kind of the main weakness of Corviknight. Not unlike the Bug Steals. Hey, 2 crits in a row. Good work. Yeah, no, dude. At this point, this is not unusual, so... Rip. Hi. Didn't you congratulate me before already? Oh, hey, the person who distributes your first Pokemon now is actually a professor. Wow. Anyway. Yay, we got a strange key item. All right. Yeah, unfortunately, we've been in a coma since then, so we can't... I don't know. We just time skipped, so I assume that that's what happened. Just came exploring. Yeah, just a little bit. No, we just forgot that we had them. Alright. Yep, return the sword. Or suffer my curse. Wait. What, bro? How'd you let these guys sneak up on you? Oh, right. Leon gave us this. I forgot already, because who even... oh, God, you're serious, aren't you? Oh, my God. Look at the... the guy in the blue suit, he looks like he's got a dildo for hair. Jesus. I can't even... Oh, I mean, obviously I've seen these guys before, so I'm playing that up a little bit, but, like, I just... How fantastically silly. A guy with a sword and a shield. His name is Swordward. Holy shit. Shieldbert, look at these absolute clowns. This is actually like kind of my favorite character design on some level, because this is so absolutely ridiculous. Holy crap. So like the vibes that I get from these guys are like, if you guys know anything about the Bogdanov brothers, and I mean like anything real about the Bogdanov brothers, not the memes, because those are weird and racist and extremely disturbed, but about like the actual story of the Bogdanov brothers and the PhD they basically faked and their books that were full of absolute nonsense. It's like, there's a reason why I kind of get that vibe. And also, the Bogdanovs kind of look ridiculous. I mean, they did afterward as a result of some very strange facial reconstruction surgery, but they already kind of looked goofy anyway. I think these guys look significantly goofier than that, though. And, you know, even the Bogdanovs in their much memed form, these guys are much goofier. But yeah, we probably shouldn't bring that up anymore for obvious reasons. Anyway, absolute clowns who are just spitting absolute nonsense and challenge us to a battle. And of course, he's got a luxury ball. I mean, what else would you have if you were a guy with sword hair? Unfortunately, we didn't get healed between fights, but I feel like we'll be okay. I guess I would like to be at full HP and PP, but whatever. Called Swad and Shieldy. Amazing. This is sort of like the peak of some of Pokemon's more ridiculous character design because, let's be honest, Pokemon character design for the humans has been getting sillier as the generations go on. And I thought that it sort of reached a certain peak much earlier in the series when you had the remakes of Ruby and Sapphire and what they had done with some of the admins for Team Magma and Team Aqua. And of course, turning the very unassuming and slightly dad bod looking Archie into the version of Archie that you see there, where he's basically like all the Crocodile Hunter memes that anyone has ever been able to come up with at once. But this is pretty good too. Alright, we could just stay the course here, but I'll round things out by getting this guy with our big bird faffing about. Yeah, this guy looks like somebody who says that regularly. Looks like somebody who does that regularly as well. And that's not me trying to make it sound like something inappropriate and making another joke about his hair accidentally looking like a phallic object, but well, with need to reorder those words a little bit, but I digress. Anyway. We kicked his butt. We kicked his butt real hard. That thing is now concave. Something on your mind, boy? Look at this ridiculous hair. Oh yeah, now we're taking the blame for things that Bede did, of course. That makes sense, as usual. Yeah, we should just head on over to the lab. Oh, you're going to... Oh. Not completely leave me hanging, just mostly. But speaking of which, let's go over this... What is that? Oh, it's a sheep, right. I was like, is that a wild Whimsicott? Because the encounter charts for the regular routes don't update. Just the wild area. And I was about to be like, what the fuck? Anyway. Let's get our heal. And there is one more thing that I will do before I hang it up here for the evening. And that is that we will go down to the lab because there's a little side area over there that we can go check out real quick. And have been able to for a bit, but now that we have our surfing bike, that is what does it for us. Oh, hi, Choodle. You exist for some reason. Oh yeah, here's the inlet to the water. Can we go under this bridge? No. You make a horrible brake screeching noise, though. Fair enough. Look out for these goons. Oh, this isn't what I was looking for, but it is an item. Did we beat the game? We saw the credits. There is, however, a post-credits quest to get the box legendary, which, of course, in this game is Zacian, Zacian, Zashin, however you wish to pronounce it. I assume that there is an official pronunciation out there somewhere. My brain always kind of wants to be like Zacian, specifically because the other one is Zamazenta, which evokes a specific color name and one that is fairly red. Whereas, you know, pronouncing it as, you know, emphasizing cyan would, once again, make note of its very blue tone. Anyway, so our thing that we're going to show off here, first of all, there's just a wild Obstagoon hanging out here. So for those of you who don't feel like evolving your Galarian Linoon, there's one you can find. And second of all, TM69, nice, Psycho Cut. That's, well, that could be a good move, but I don't know if we have anything that can learn it. And I like our team. I don't think I'm going to change it. Not for any of the rest of the post game. We probably won't need to. Oh, well, something about allowing you to perform for longer or something. I don't know. You folks fill in this joke for me. Phantom Force. Yeah, see, we can teach Psycho Cut to a Pokemon that's much better at using special attacks. So why would we do that when we have Psychic already? But yes, that is going to be our wrap-up point. And next stream, we will see this finished. And if it ends up being short, I'll find something extra to do. But I'll figure that out at the time.